Hello and welcome to Tricks of the Estray channel. Today is the 1st of June 2017, and on today's video we have Carla Suarez Navarro. She's an ATP ranked, or let me say WTA ranked lawn tennis player. She's actually from Spain. But by the time we get done with this video, I'll present facts to you that will show you that we are actually looking at a he. All right. So if it's your first time on our channel, as I usually say and I usually recommend, and that you have to watch the primer video first. So if you've never watched the primer video, advise you that you pause this video right here and go look for the primer video on our channel. If you do not watch the primer video, a lot of the stuff that I'm gonna say to you is not gonna make any sense, and you're gonna be asking questions and leaving comments, and your mind is not gonna be set for the channel. That's the best way to put it. So if it's your first time, please pause the video right here, go look for the primer video, watch the primer video, and then you can come back and watch this video. I also recommend that you also download the document that's attached to every video that we make. So for example, I'm going to show you what I mean. And this is an actual video. This video actually is set to private on my channel, but for the rest of the videos it's going to be something like this. So all you need to do is go to the YouTube screen, exactly what it says, show more right here. When you click on this link, as you're following my mouse, you click on the link, it will lead you to a document, and this is the document. It's a male versus female visual differences. It will show you the visual differences between male and female. All right. Advise that you read the document. It's about 44 pages, but I guarantee you it will take you less than 30 minutes to actually go through it, and it will do you a lot of good. You can keep the document handy also, and so you can always look it up from time to time. Now, before, as I usually say on all our videos before I start, that even though we feature a lot of transgenders on our channel, the channel is not about transgenders. All right, the channel is about trying to show you the power structure and the people who run the world, and the reason for the transgendering of kids, young kids taken at a young age, before they can make the decision or reach that age in which they can make a decision and say, okay, I want to live a fantasy of a hoax. All right, that I am living in a gender and sex that's different from the gender that I was born with. These children are forcefully taken, mutilated, brainwashed, or castrated, as the case may be, fed hormones, and forced to live like slaves in a sex and gender that's not theirs and not their own making. And if you've watched the videos long enough, I keep telling you that the people who do this is the Vatican. The Vatican is the power structure, is the control structure that runs the world. Now, before I get any further, all right, I always say that we have nothing against transgenders. We do not hate transgenders in any way, shape, or form. We do not judge transgenders. We do not judge anybody who chooses to live an alternative lifestyle. You want to be a homosexual? That's fine. Because God, who made the world and made us and gave us life, because the very breath that we breathe is His life, gave to us, every one of us, the choice to live your life any type of way. So we as mere mortals cannot judge you. So what we're trying to expose to you is to make you understand your world. That's all what we're here for. And for the fact that we want these children who are being bred, all right, because the Vatican owns the whole entire structure. They have the hospital, the doctors, the surrogacy, the media. The Vatican owns everything. All of us in this world are working directly or indirectly for the Vatican because they have their hands in everything. All right. So they have set up this system, which has been given to producing or stealing kids, or forcing these kids to live in a sex and gender that's not the sex and gender of their own. So if you want to know more about what I'm saying, When you watch the primer video, after you're done watching the primer video and you've finished this video, as the case may be, you can go and look for the Beyonce part 2 video on this channel and watch that. It will tell you a lot of history. And you can also watch the Serena Williams video, which will tell you which will relate the history of what's happening around you, so you can actually understand it. All right. So what I'm saying, as I'm going forward, as I'm speaking, is that what I wanted to talk about a little bit more is the fact that on this particular channel, this channel is different. It's not like any other channel. So we have a lot of people now. I'm addressing specific people now, and the people I'm addressing are like, people who want to ask questions, or you want to make a comment. I've said this on the last video and I'm gonna say it again. If you're trying to label someone a transgender on this channel, you have to provide solid facts. Otherwise, those comments are gonna be deleted. You could be blocked, as the case may be, or it's just gonna be removed, right? So I want you to provide solid facts, because I don't want people labeling someone something when the person is not, without providing facts. So what am I trying to say? If you, for example, if someone call you a thief without showing facts of your stealing, that's mudslinging. That's dragging your name down the gutter. And none of us likes that. So let us all have some dignity. Even though we have freedom of speech, we should be able to have control over it. So if you're going to label someone a transgender on this channel, you have to provide solid facts. And those facts don't have to start with her index fingers or jaw lines, because the difference between male and female is that one person, females are designed to give birth. Their skeletal structure is designed to give birth. And the skeletal structure differences lies in the hips and the spine, and also the tilt of the pelvis. This is where the differences are. So when you want to label someone a transgender, I want you to make sure that you have those facts based on those differences. Any labeling of someone a transgender on this channel without those facts, and starting with, you looked at the person's jaw lines, you looked at the person's index fingers and all that stuff, we are gonna delete it. That's just that. All right. So we want to have some dignity, because I'm going to show you a perfect example right here. Now, here is a guy on our channel. His name happens to be Carlos Navarro, right? If you're following my mouse, right? And he said, he's talking to Karma Kiss. He says, Karma Kiss, yes, Blue is a boy, referring to Blue Ivy, which is the daughter of Beyonce. All right. Blue Ivy is a boy, and that's why it looks strange. This is very, very sad. You're talking about a kid, an innocent child, who at this point doesn't know what's right or what's wrong, and you're labeling this kid a transgender without having any facts. This is cruel. This is cold. If someone were to label your kid or you to be something you're not without providing facts, it's very, very wrong. So we are not going to accommodate this kind of comments. So I'm showing you an example here. If you want to label somebody a transgender, if you want to call somebody out for something, provide facts. There should be some dignity. All right? Like I said, this channel is not about entertainment. We're not here for the entertainment value. We're not here for the shock value. We're not here in any way to make or call people names or something for what they're not. We base this channel on solid facts. It's different from other channels. Some people may not agree with it, but that's just what it is. That's just what it is. So please, before you put up a comment about someone being a transgender, I implore you to have solid facts. All right? Because I don't want people, because people are coming off and saying, okay, I'm narcissistic and I have egos and all that. I have none of that. I'm just dealing I'm trying to keep this channel as clean as possible. So if somebody were to come up on it, all right, and read, he can learn something. All right. The channel is not subscription driven. We don't really care about the number of subscribers. If I had only 5 subscribers, only 5 subscribers who were dedicated to the truth, that's all I really need. I need people dedicated to the truth, not here just for entertainment reasons and all that. If you don't agree with what we say or what we do, after you do your own investigation, hey, it's a free world. Subscribe. You're here of your own accord. We didn't force you to be here. You came here. All right. So if you don't like what you see or what you heard, unsubscribe and go away. It's that simple. All right. And before I just because usually I'm always like on the news. All right. And I notice stuff. So when I notice stuff, I always try to show you what's really what the stuff is all about. Now today I was reading the news and I came up on this particular article. So I'm gonna highlight the article right there. You can pause the video at any point in time and copy out the link right there, paste it in your browser, and go read it. It says world's biggest airplane. All you need to know about Microsoft co-founder Paul Allen's Stratolaunch. So I had talked about the fact that on a video, if you can go look up the video according to the date. The date would be the date before the 1st of June. I had talked about a video in the fact that that nobody has ever taken a picture of the sun, because when you take a picture of the sun, you're just gonna see a glare of light, like you would take a selfie with your flash on your camera phone, and what you get back is glare, right? I already talked about the fact that when NASA shows you pictures of the sun, they're actually telling you a lie, because they're supposedly trying to lie to you and tell you there's a satellite in space that can take a picture of the sun that's clear and you see all those balls of fire rolling out. That's all computer generated, imagery. And what happens is, like, when the Vatican tells you a lie, they have to make it believable. So for example, I'm giving you a typical example here so you can see. Paul Allen is supposed to be Microsoft co-founder. That means the computer I'm using is even owned by the Vatican, because he's got Paul Allen here. All right. I don't want to get into much about who Paul Allen is, but you can, as you're looking at my screen, you can already see that they say that he's Microsoft co-founder. That means he's co-founder with what Bill Gates. All right. So if you go read this particular story and you scroll down, it says Stratolaunch, the world's largest plane, is ready for fueling and ground tests. The 50-foot tall aircraft is designed to transport rockets carrying satellites into space. So you see how these people, build lies upon lies until you're so entrenched in lies. All right. Because if you scroll down and you look at some of the pictures, let me see if I can find. I can't really find. Let me see if I can play this. Let's see if this can play real quick so you can see what I'm saying. So here is the supposed plane. If you're looking at my screen right here, now here is the plane that is supposed to take satellites into space. All right. They say is the world's biggest plane. Let me see if I can make this as big as possible so you can actually see. And here are the pictures of it. Can you see what I'm talking about? So they can't even take pictures of the sun, because because whenever I say stuff, I just want to say it with and giving you an example that so you can go do it. All right. So go to let's say go outside, take a camera, all right, with you. If you have a DSL camera, it's even better. At any time, morning or night, try to take a picture of the sun. Go with the best camera you can possibly have and see at what you get. What you see is just a ball or glare of light. Now, if these guys can't take a picture of the sun, are you now telling me that they can build a plane that can go into space, all right, and build satellites? And the thing about satellites is, if you actually look for a satellite, pictures of satellite, you're never gonna see any real pictures of satellite except computer generated imagery, because these things don't exist. So someone might say, okay, so how do they track you on GPS? It's towers. Even the satellite TV dish that you watch is not pointed up in the sky. It's pointed at a certain direction. It's pointing at another terrestrial tower. That's what it is. So I don't want you guys, falling for any of this, nonsense, because the Vatican, all what they're trying to do is trying to turn the Bible upside down so you can never believe anything that's in there. When the Bible is fact, it's real truth, it's real history, it's real wisdom. It will make you wise as long as you read it. All right. So, and especially, I recommend that you study the Geneva Bible, and the hard copy, not just the app, because the app doesn't have all those notes that the early church reformers wrote down, so you can study for your own and know who your enemy is, which has always been the Vatican, right from inception into the modern history of humankind as of today. All right. So study the Geneva Bible, the hard copy. Don't just get the app, go get the hard copy and study it. And study the 1611 King James Bible also as well. So with that said, now I want to jump into something else. Actually, before I jump, because I want to address somebody. I don't want to give out his name right here on this channel, but if you leave a comment and ask me on this video who I'm talking about, I will tell you his name there and then. Now, before I address the person, I want to explain something. All right. Now, people have a hard time coming to terms with the truth. All right. Because even with me, I had a hard time as well. And it's because we've been programmed for so long with lies, so that when you come in contact with the truth, it's a little bit difficult for you to actually understand it, all right, or come to terms with it and grasp it. A lot of people have that problem. Now, it's no problem, because the only way you can program yourself out of lies is keep programming yourself with the truth that you hear. All right? Just like you've been told lies right from the day you were born up till now, and you're still being told lies. In the same way, if you want to change that mindset away so you can understand things better, you have to keep listening to truth. You have to take it in. You have to search for the truth. All right? Now, most people suffer from what I call a delusion. And I'm going to explain what a delusion means. A delusion means that you're presented with facts, all facts that point to you and show you that what you've believed, the ideas that you've held for so long, is actually a lie. But you still decide not to, right? Let go of the lies. You still hold on to it. That's a delusion. So, why am I saying this? Now, there's a particular guy who's been he's been asking me questions, and I've been trying to give him the best answers possible. And yesterday, we got into a little bit of emailing back and forth. Now, this is the only time I'm going to address this fellow, because after this is said and done, I'm never going to address it anymore, because this channel is not affiliated with any channel. If you hear my name, or you hear a name on any channel, say Tricks of the S Trade, we have no affiliation with anybody. We are not friends with anybody. We have no collaborators with anybody, because when you're searching for the truth, I'm gonna say it like Yehoshua said. When men start saying good things about you, you have to run. Because when you start making friends with people who are not on the same page with you, most likely what you're gonna end up is dead. All right. And so this particular fellow, like I said, if you want to know who I'm talking about, you can send me a comment. I will tell you, but I'm not going to speak his name on this particular video. Now, he sent me an email saying that he was trying to understand how that he's having problems looking at the hips, or he wants to, because he's always saying that all what he cares about is the truth. And like I said earlier, a delusion is when someone is presented with all facts that point to that show him that what he's believed for so long is a lie, but he still decides to hold on to the lie. That's a delusion. Now he sent me an email, and he sent me email on a couple of people suffering from a disease, and let me actually show you what the disease name is. It's called the Klinefelter syndrome. Now, if you can go look this up on the internet, but I'm gonna read a certain portion of this for you, so you can understand what a Klinefelter syndrome is about. Now, the Klinefelter syndrome, I'm gonna read. It says Klinefelter syndrome K is also known as 47XXY or XXY, is the set of symptoms that result from two or more X chromosomes in males. The primary feature is sterility. I want you to note that. Often, symptoms may be subtle and many people do not realize they are affected. Sometimes, symptoms are more prominent and may include weaker muscles, greater height, poor coordination, less body hair, small genitals, breast growth, and less interest in sex. Often, it is only at puberty that these symptoms are noticed. So, let me go back to what I was trying to say. So, he emailed me a couple of pictures on the Klinefelter disease and asked me that I should take a look at it. So, what he was trying to say is that the effect of prepubescent transgenders go a long way. I want you to hear this line of logic that this fella gave me, that the prepubescent transgendering of kids has a greater effect beyond what we can know. And he pulled up the Klinefelter syndrome, like I just showed you, on trying to understand the prepubescent transgendering. Remember, he was trying to get help on trying to see how the spine can be affected, if that a male spine can be the same way as a female. Now, I looked at those pictures and I told him that the spines are actually not bent. So and I showed him that when you look at a female spine, all right, I want you to see these two pictures right here. When you look at a female spine, I told him you have to take into certain things when you're trying to study the spine of a male who's trying to look like a female. Because one, you have to study the stance, all right? Is the person's body at rest from a walking or standing position? Is the person trying to arch their back forcefully, all right? Is the person wearing heels? Because if a man tries to arch his back, the angles he's going to create is going to be very sharp. It's going to be like, if you see this man's back right here, looking at my screen, if he tries to arch his back, the angles are going to be sharp. Why is the angles going to be sharp? Because for a female in a female's body, everything is inside of a woman's body. All right? So the body is stocked, right? The female has a smaller rib cage, and then the pelvis is set more higher, all right? So the length of the torso, the length of the arch of a female's back, all right, will be much more, because it's closer together, right? It's gonna be the gradient, or let's say it's gonna be subtle. The arch in the back is gonna be subtle because everything is closer together. All right. If a man tries to arch his back, because a man has a bigger rib cage, as you can see right here, this green line inside this thing is the rib cage. It goes further down, all right, into the body, right? So it's longer. So if a man tries to arch his back, he's going to form weird angles. I'm still talking about the fellow in question who sent me an email. And like I said, if you want to know who I'm talking about, you can leave a comment and I'll explain more about who I'm talking about. So I told him this, that you have to look for how harsh the lines of the arch in the back will be. I told him to take into consideration the stance, if the person is wearing heels, and what the person is looking like. Now I'm going to show you an example of what he sent me after that. So he sent me this particular link of this particular man. All right, this is a man. Okay, fellas, I want you to take a good look at this. You can see that this is a man. Now, is this man trying to arch his back? Yes, but can you see that it's still straight? There is no line of curvature right inside this arch, because if this was female, the arch would go right in and start turning and then come back out. But this is straight into the pelvis. And as you can see, this man is kneeling down. And look at the muscular structure of this man. Look at the muscle of his butt here. All right? And look at the boulders on this man's shoulders. Now, if this dude who has so many subscribers can be this confused, can be this deluded, then I have so much pity for his subscribers. Because he sent me information and he can't even understand the difference between when he's looking at a man or looking at a woman. And this is what he sent to me. All right? So now he was saying that the Klinefelter disease, which I read earlier to you, has an effect on, could have some effect on how people look at transgenders. And the argument I now asked him was, Klinefelter disease, or let's say deformity, happens in less than 1% of the population. So are you going to base your analysis on 1% of the population, which is an abnormality? And he now said that 1% of the population controls the whole entire world, which happens to be the Vatican. So you can see how this guy is flip-flopping all over the place. What, even though the Vatican, or let's say 1% of the world controls the rest of the 99%, does 1% of the world determine a child's conception at birth? Does it determine the sex of a baby? Does the 1% determine when a man goes and spends some time with the woman and makes a child? These are all questions I need to ask him. Because how can we go from a one with, I mean, we're talking about, we're talking about transgenders, all right? And how prepubescent transgendering can affect the spine and the hips. And we just jump all over to another topic altogether that's got no correlation with it. Because it's more like, the best way I can explain this is, for example, let's say someone who fishes, right? And the person only fishes catfish. So he goes to the sea or the river, this case may be, and catches a large number of catfish. And then accidentally he catches one crab or one lobster. Will the one lobster or one crab determine how the rest of the fishes, or will it determine that the population of will it determine that the catfish is actually no longer catfish? Will the one lobster the guy who caught while catching a whole bunch of catfish, which is all he wants, will it determine the number of catfishes that he has? See how this logic makes no sense at all? Because let's even go back to the fact of prepubescent transgender, because I've always said, I've always told him this, all right? When a child, when the embryo, that means at conception, when an egg meets a sperm, all right? The DNA is stamped XX for females and XY for males. All right? The skeletal structure is determined. Now, if you go and look at the meaning of puberty, when you read puberty, puberty talks about secondary male or secondary female, secondary sexual characteristics. It doesn't talk about primary. Because when the sex of a baby is determined at conception, that is what that child is going to be forever. Secondary or puberty is just maturing. So, for example, a female has breasts. The breast starts maturing at puberty. It's more like you plant a crop or you plant a tree, all right? Let's say you plant an apple tree. The apple tree has all the characteristics of an apple in its seed. That is primary. That's the primary trait of that apple. So when you plant the seed of the apple and it grows into a tree, all right, and starts bearing fruit, all right, that is primary. The apple is acting like an apple. The only thing now is that the fruit is not yet ripe. That's the same way in which puberty makes somebody to be mature as a man or a woman. It doesn't change the fact that you're not man or woman. Because what he was trying to say is the fact that when a child, before he was saying something about that there is a phase that someone goes through in which you become androgynous before puberty. So the question now I now have to ask him is this: why is it that a sex of a baby, so let's say for example a woman is pregnant and she wants to know the sex of a baby before the baby is born. She does a sound scan, and when she does the sound scan, they tell her this baby is male or female. Why is that so? If something else can change the sex of a baby before the baby hits puberty. You see how crazy it is? Because it's all fake science that a child can be androgynous. There is no such thing. The sex of the child is determined before birth. That's why mothers can go get a sound scan, all right, and find out the sex of their child, whether it's male or female, because it's all in the womb. There is no such thing as androgyny. Now, the question now I have to ask is it possible that a man can take hormones and start having like fat female distribution on his body? Yes. Will those hormones change where his hips at? Above his crotch? No. It will only add fat distribution around it like a woman, but the position of the hips will never change because all these genetic markers are stamped at birth. That is why people can know the sex of a child before the child is born, because the genetic markers are stamped before birth. So that is all I'm going to talk about to this particular fellow, which I said that you can, send me a comment or ask me a question about who it is, and I'll tell you his name. There is no such thing as androgyny. A man taking drugs or hormones will not change where his hips at, because that's all primary primary characteristics that are stamped at conception. When an egg is fertilized by a sperm, it cannot be changed. That is the reason why we can know the sex of a baby before a baby is born, because it's all stamped at conception, not the other way around. So to me, he's a very deluded and confused person. And I just wonder how he's making videos and other people are listening to him. It is ridiculous. So I don't want to spend too much time because I want to get back on the subject of Carla Suarez Navarro, and that's who we're going to get into straight away. Here is a picture of Carla Suarez Navarro, and before I go into this picture, I'll just play you a short clip which shows you where the female hip is usually at. When I'm done playing the clip, then I can come back and we can talk about some more about Carla Navarro. So here is the clip. So I want you to watch the clip closely, so you can see the widest point on a female, all right, is below her crotch. See that right there? And this is something you can see every day. If you have a wife, you have a girlfriend, or you have somebody who can strip for you to see this, go ahead and look. Because I'm not talking about fake science here. Because I'm not talking about the kind of science in which they tell you that 2 molecules of hydrogen plus 1 molecule of oxygen turns into water. And you go into a lab and you're trying to find out how to add 2 molecules of hydrogen into oxygen to make it turn into water. Does it make sense? I'm talking about real stuff that you can relate with every day. Now, this fellow who I talked about is completely delusional. He's trying to base his judgment on 1%, less than 1% of the population, which is not even a true population. So he's going to throw away all the 99% who show up with real hips below the crotch or hips above the crotch, and go look at the 1% and make his judgment based off that 1%. Deformed Klinefelter disease people. All right, let me go forward so you can watch this. See where the hips at? Tape is gonna go around. This is standard procedure for measuring a woman's hips anywhere in the world. If we had different procedures, then it wouldn't be talking about women anymore. So that's where the tape goes around, as you can see, all around, and that's where a female's hip is at. Okay? See that? It goes around below the crotch, not above. All right? A man's hip will be above. So we get back to Carla Navarro here, and we pull a picture. I'm going to try to blow this up. As you can see, where's the widest point on this hip from this particular tennis player? See right where it's sticking that? That's above the crotch, not below it. See the widest point right there? You're looking at a male. Another picture. Now with this one, Carla Navarro has a straight back. Now if a woman swings her hands, because remember the female waist is above her navel, her belly button, all right? The male waist is below. When a woman swings, she's going to swing from where her waist is at, because that's where her hips are starting at. With a man, it's going to be lower. But I want you to look at this. This is a straight back of a male. And let's go back to a document. This is a document that I always advise that you have open and that you read. A female will always have an arch in the back. All right? The arch is going to start below the shoulder blades. Right? It's going to start dipping below until it gets past the rib cage. And just before the navel, it's going to twist in. Then it's going to come out into the pelvis. A man's back is never going to arch. If this man tried to arch his back, he's going to create sharp angles. It's going to be like an L shape, straight. With a female, it's going to be a C deep curve inside there. The female back is shaped like an S. A man's back is going to be shaped straight, or if he wants to arch, it's going to arch outside like a D or a P and go straight into the pelvis. I have to keep doing this all the time because I need to drive this down so people can understand, all right? See this? See that? There's a C right there. See that arch right there? If a man tried to arch his back, these angles would be straight into the pelvis. And then you see the pelvis right there. It would go straight. You wouldn't see this deep arch of a C right here. All right? Why does a woman need an arch in her back? Because she's going to get pregnant. She needs to be able to carry the weight of pregnancy. And also because the pelvis is tilted forward so that the baby can stay inside the womb. All right? If you guys don't agree with me, then there is nothing I can do about it because this is fact. You go look it up. I'm not talking about going sitting in front of a doctor or specialized people who may have who have been trained so much in books that they're not looking at real facts. There is real science. Real science is based on the observation around you that you make, not just what other people say. Okay? So a woman is always gonna have an arch in her back. I'm trying to scroll down to the right spot so you can see what I'm saying more. All right? This thing is loading up. So it doesn't matter if the lady is big or small, there's always going to be an arch. That arch is going to be shaped like a C right in there, right? It's not going to be straight. You can see it's going to be deep in that area. If a man tried to arch his back, this arch would be longer because the man's back is straight. So it goes straight into the pelvis. It will be straight and it'll have much more like sharper angles like an L. Right? A man's back would be sharper like an L, but a female would be like a C inside where the arch starts. And the pelvis is always tilted forward so a baby can stay inside. It doesn't matter if she's small, like the lady on my right, or she's huge or big, like the lady on my left. There's always going to be an arch shaped like a C in the back. All right? Doesn't matter if she's got muscles, like I'm trying to scroll down. Here is a muscular female, and you can still see that arch in her back right there. Right? See that? C-shape arch. Not an L. C. I have to keep saying it. C-shape or S. C-shape. All right? And when we go down to Carla Navarro here, it's a straight back. That's the back of a male. Some more pictures of Carla. I'll just put this picture up so you can see that there's a tennis player, but you can see she has an arch in her back. See, it's C in there, right? Not an L. C in there, and the pelvis is tilted forward. We'll come back to that later. So more pictures of Carla Navarro here. Straight back, straight into the pelvis. See, it's straight, and it goes L. There's no arch in here. There's no arch or a C in that place. Okay? See, straight all the way down. And look at where his hands are resting at. Because that's where his comfort zone. That's where men rest their hands when they're tired. Because that's where the hip is at. If she was female, the hand would be higher up. You girls know what I'm talking about. All right? Here's another picture. And see that? Where is the hip? Where is that trochanta sticking out? There is none. All right? It's just straight because this is man. All right, some more pictures. I'm going to relate this, show you this picture with another picture. So just hold on a second. We'll come back to this later. I just want to keep showing you that this is a straight back. There's no arch. Straight into the pelvis. You're looking at a dude. Carla Suarez Navarro from Spain. He's been lying to you that she's female. It's actually a dude. All right, some more pictures. And look at that. Will you take a good look at that picture and tell me that you're looking at a female? No, you're looking at a dude. Look at those hands. Those are the hands of a dude. Right? Some more pictures. Carla Navarro again. Look at that. Straight back. Right? Been lying. A man on testosterone. Castrated. And he probably has an owner. This is what I'm talking about. These people are all owned by somebody. Like pets. Like animals. Taking little children and doing this to them. Right? Some more pictures. Here, Carla Navarro again. And where is that hand at? That's my comfort zone because I'm a man. And see that? Straight back. There's no arch. You're looking at a dude. Don't be confused. Looking at a dude. Look at that again. See that? Straight back. Right? When a woman turns, she's going to turn from her waist. And the female waist starts way higher up. Remember that. The female waist starts above her navel. So if she turns, she's going to turn from that navel position. You're going to see the turn of the body from that position. When a man turns, he turns from his waist, which is lower. This is where the turn's at. Okay? All right, some more pictures. Straight back. There's no arch. Straight into the pelvis. Carla Navarro. It's a dude. Look at that. Even while still lying down. See that? Straight back. We should see a deep C in here. But that's me laying down because I'm a dude. All right? And here's a female. Here's what I wanted to show you with. We'll go back to that picture now. We'll come back to this picture later. So we're going to pull it side by side. And here is another picture of Carla Navarro. See that? Straight back. Even through clothes, you will see the arch in the female's back. So let's rewind further and go back to the picture that I was trying to show you and make a comparison. We're going to pull it side by side. Here is one picture right there. And let me pull the other picture side by side so you can see what I'm saying. All right? We're going to pull this. I'm going to try to fill up the screen as much as I can. And I'm going to blow this up. So here is a female. This is Simona Halep. She's also on the WTA tour and ranked. And you can see where the trochanter is sticking out. And you can see what the Q angle, which is always very acute. The Q angle is the angle between the hip and the knee. You can study a document so you can see what I'm saying. And here is Carla Navarro, right? Almost in the same motion, right? Where is the hip sticking out at? There is none, because this is a dude. It's probably in here, above the crotch. Where is this female's hip sticking out? Can you see that? Below the crotch. I'm sorry that I'm pointing my mouse at that, but I just have to show you. And I apologize to Simona Halep at any point in time for doing that. But it is what it is. I have to show facts. So with that said, I come to the end of today's video. This is male and this is female. All on the WTA ranked lawn tennis tournaments. All right. And so with that, we come to the end of today's video. And like I say, before you leave comments, you have to leave comments with facts if you're labeling someone a transgender. You can ask questions, but when you start talking about someone who's transgender, who you think is transgender, you better come up with facts. Otherwise, those comments are going to be removed, blocked, or deleted, as the case may be. And when you start talking facts, you have to start talking from the aspect that a female skeletal structure like this one is designed to give birth. The hips are below the crotch. They have an arch in their spine. The pelvis is tilted forward. If any comment starts with saying jawline, index fingers, I'm just going to delete it. I'm tired of dealing with agents. I'm tired of dealing with delusional people. All right? That's just me saying what it is. So thank you. Stay tuned and subscribe. If you don't like the videos, unsubscribe. You're not doing anybody favors. If you don't like the videos, don't just watch it. All right? It doesn't make any sense for you to sit down and watch a stupid video. It doesn't make any sense. I don't watch stupid videos. If I don't like something, I leave it. All right? Subscribe, stay tuned, and I'll leave you with these words. Look with your eyes and see with your brain. Thanks. Bye-bye.